Mm-hmm.
Hey everybody,
Hi.
welcome to
Oh, I'm sorry. I was fixing my hair.
welcome y'all. Welcome to Transparent Thursdays, guys. Apparently we can't do the togetherness today, but that's okay. Um,
Okay. I'm troubleshooting things. Oh, I forgot
it's
to do
just
that.
what? Oh, turn your thing off. Yeah. Let me go ahead and get us on the thing.
Sorry, guys. All right. Are we here? Are we in the flesh?
We are here. You can talk. I'm just trying to get the tech up.
Mm,
Hope everybody's doing well. Excited to talk today.
I look tired.
You look great.
Oh, thank you. It's a lie, but I appreciate it.
No, it's not. You look great.
Okay. You want to tell the people what we're talking about while you're
Yeah.
doing that?
So today we are going to be talking about. So the overarching is like we're having a discussion about the Love Is Blind reunion. But like
We're not talking about the reunion, are we?
we're talking about like one segment. But our main thing
I
is
thought we
like
were talking about Love is Blind, like just the show.
we can talk about the show. Period. Yeah.
Oh, I don't
There's
know.
one part I wanted to talk about though, dealing with like how doubt really can lead to people like breaking up their own like relationships or can cause a break in your marriage.
Mm,
But we can generally talk about Love Is Blind too, if that's what you
okay.
want to talk
Do
about.
you guys watch Love is Blind? If not, that's okay. But I would recommend it only if you like analyzing human thought and human behavior
Mm-hmm.
in relationships. It's very fascinating. However, we also just had a conversation yesterday about how a lot of it is probably fake and some of the people on there are probably fake. So it kind of changes my mind about things a little bit, but I watch because, who doesn't love love, right?
Who doesn't love love?
I'm rooting for everybody in love. I want everybody to I want love to win. Love wins. Love wins in the end.
It does.
Yeah,
It does. Think,
hopefully.
so, what did you want to talk about first, babe?
I don't know. This your channel.
It's my channel. Come on now, don't do
This
that.
your live. I just come and make a guest appearance.
Okay, she's tripping today,
I
y'all.
don't know. So it's your idea. What do you want to talk about?
Uh, well, let's
Hi,
see.
Keisha. What do you want to talk about? Look, it's us talking again.
Yeah, no, sorry.
That happens every episode.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to get the tech up. So I told you, just go ahead and start, but you don't want to talk.
Because it's your idea. So you go.
It's actually not. But
Okay, whatever. Anyway, so
Okay.
yeah, Love is Blind.
Good. So
I don't remember what I was talking about, but I just really love I watch because I like to see if anybody's gonna make it and who's gonna make it, and like if I'm right about the couple that's gonna make it. And if you have been watching the show, obviously everybody or social media or whoever is talking about it is talking about Adie and Clay because I don't know, maybe people thought that they really weren't gonna make it, but I was one of those people who was like, "Oh yeah, I think it's gonna happen. I think they're gonna say I do," and I was very stumped when Clay did what he did.
So okay, I was hopeful for them, but I wasn't as disappointed as you were, just because I could see
My heart dropped.
where
I
it
was
was
so
going
sad.
because throughout the whole season he had trauma he was dealing with, and he wasn't actually able to kind of move forward past like the doubts he had about himself. Um, all throughout the whole season, he talked about his doubts about like if could he be
He
a good
did.
husband? Will I be a good husband? Will I be better than my father? My father cheated on my wife, not my wife. Father cheated on my mother. Will I do the same thing to my wife? And so kind of looking as far as like that overshadowing trauma kind of led into how he led his life, and it also kind of pushed him to kind of view how he viewed marriage as a whole.
Yeah,
Which is
but
kind of
I feel like I was just hopeful. I think everybody was hopeful that he was just going to take the leap of faith and he was just going to say yes because he, I don't know, loved her and because they seemed like a working relationship.
I mean, I think there was definitely potential there. I think, but the thing is, potential has to change from potential into actual like facts of like how it actually is. Like potential,
actions.
yeah, it's like potential has become actions. Potential unrealized is just potential, and so it kind of stayed there because his doubt stood in the way and became a wall that stopped his potential from moving from potential to actually becoming the action step to actually becoming an actual marriage.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I was thinking about this earlier today because I was looking at the scripture in James, and it's like Jesus asking. He says, "But when you ask, you must believe and not you must believe and not doubt." Because the one who doubts is like a wave of the sea, blown and tossed by the wind. That person should not expect to receive anything from the Lord. Such a person is double-minded and unstable in all they do. So that scripture's talking about like prayer and stuff, but I also kind of relate that to like how we action step things out, right? Because if we have doubt in the way we move or in relationships, like we're going to be unstable in our actions in our relationships. It's going to cause us to kind of sway about, and he did that a lot during the season. You can see him kind of swaying and being unstable, and like people her being concerned about like his like shifts in movements and how he thought in his thought process. And so like doubt causes you to be unstable in the way you do things. And so like his doubt caused him to be unstable in the part of their relationship. And it was that final doubt that he couldn't cross that caused him to make that decision that he ended up saying that he regretted, which is to say no at the altar. And so, I think it's important that we kind of understand, like, we have to move past that doubt because you had hope, but he didn't have enough hope to overcome his doubt.
Yeah. Yeah. I also think what's important in a relationship, like, because what I saw in that, oh man, like after I watched not the reunion, but the last episode, the wedding episode, I literally the next day was like in the bathtub me and the Lord talking about AD and Clay. Like, what? But anyway, I feel like what it was he could not give himself grace.
Yeah.
And I think in a marriage and in a relationship, it's important to give your partner grace, but you also have to give yourself grace.
Right.
And I think he couldn't. I mean, it really is trauma what he went through. The idea of his dad taking him along on these affairs and him as a child, I think he said he was 7,
right?
Like being a witness to his dad cheating on his mom,
right?
And not just once. I think it happened for years.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Like that really is traumatizing. So, and I think on the reunion he said that he was getting therapy now. I hope that was true because really, like, I mean, I almost wonder how many other relationships has that stopped him from being in. Like how many other good relationships. Because if you say you want to learn long-term thing, and he said a lot on the show that he wanted to be married, he wanted to be in a long-term relationship,
right.
But literally you're in what seems like to be a good relationship. Well, this woman says she loves you. She's willing to overlook your trauma, all this stuff. She's giving you grace, but you can't give your own self grace.
Right.
And that trauma is what... So I was still talking.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That trauma is what is doing that to him. So I really hope he is in therapy so he can overcome that. Because I just want to see Black love win. I want to see all love win, but I want to see Black love win so bad. I was so sad about that. I was so sad.
I think though, like
we let trauma interfere all the time.
We do. So the trauma
generational
in his situation,
curses.
like, led to him having doubt. And so what he wanted was a long-term relationship, but he had doubts about if he could do it because he's seen his father do it. And so he saw in his father himself. And so because he said he's a lot like his father. Like he has similar traits in far like they excelled in the same fields of like occupations and things that they do. So he saw himself as kind of like a mini me of his father, like a product of his father.
Yeah.
And so that affected him. So when he finally got what he wanted, which was a long-term relationship, he had fear because he didn't want to do to his AD what his father did to his mother. Because he saw the damage and the pain
so
from
heavily
that.
Ingrained
so for him, the doubts wasn't a matter of like, oh, will I cheat or anything else? That's part of it. But I think some of it is like, I don't want to hurt her. Like I love her so much that I don't want to hurt her. And I'm afraid that I won't be able to prevent myself from being in a situation to do that. Because I'm so much like my father, I probably do the same thing he did. Or I don't understand love enough that I would possibly hurt her in some form or fashion, and I don't want to hurt her in some way. And so that doubt led to fear, and of course, you make irrational decisions when you're fearful.
Yeah.
And so I think that's part of it, and I think some of it too is like
self-sabotage.
Yeah, that's how it always is.
Sabotage himself.
Doubt and fear always leads to self-sabotage. Like that when it comes to relationships, when it comes to like success, when it comes to business, when it comes to anytime you doubt yourself and you have fear, like you're gonna self-sabotage yourself every time. Like
if you react out of the doubt, because I think it's human to doubt yourself, but you can still move out of faith.
Right, but that requires courage.
Yeah.
So you have to, in the face of the fear, you have to be able to have enough hope and faith to move forward in the fear.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, okay, so I was going to say Peter walking on water.
I have a good analogy.
Go ahead.
Yes, it is like that. But you know what? You were just telling the story to somebody the other day, how you felt very afraid of getting married.
Yeah.
And I think we've told this story before, how the week we got engaged, we almost broke up because he was being very scared and letting his fear lead him away from wanting to be married.
Yep.
And that was not how I was going to live. I was not going to live my life dating you, being unmarried for X amount of time. That wasn't what was going to happen. So we were going to be done. But you ended up moving out of faith.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think led you to move? Because it's hard taking faith steps. Leaps of faith, especially in a relationship. So
I think, well, everybody has different experiences. For me, like I felt like God gave me a message. Like, this is your wife. Like, don't be stupid. Like, go ahead and move forward on this. Like, this is for you. Like, I felt that. And so for me, it was kind of one of those things I had to actually like internalize that and look at, okay, cool. Like, what are the things that you're most afraid of? Okay, cool. Like, I feel like I may not be able to provide. Like, I was struggling to take care of myself. If I'm struggling to take care of myself, well, how will I take care of both her and me? And I remember, like, I had thought come back to my mind about something you said about, like, we would work stuff out together. Like, we would figure out a way to do it together. So, like, in my mind, I was like, okay, cool. I'm not going to have to do it by myself. But, like, we would figure out a way. Like, we become a team. And if we're a team, then we can work it out together. And then from there I can build and I can become better at figuring out how to be a provider, figuring out how to actually be that husband. Even though I didn't know, like I had like my parents as a role model, and my dad's an awesome provider for my mother, and like he really goes at it. And so like I've always had that model, and I've seen other people in my life who have actually been like good, like godly, husbandly figures. And then I've also seen like the opposite too. So for me, I think that kind of helped me in that moment to kind of like really just sit down and analyze like where I was, look at, I guess you would say pros and cons of my fear and my faith. Like, do I have a reason to be courageous at this time? Like, what's the worst that can happen? Like, if I don't move forward, she's going to be gone. Like, I will not be married to this woman. I will be single again. Like, I do not like being single. It took me a long time to find somebody that I think is actually a perfect, fit for me. And then I would have to go back through all that again, and who's to know where I would end up. And I was not happy with that viewpoint of that long term until I looked at the opposites. Like, okay, cool. If I face my fears in this, okay, what's the worst that can happen? Well, okay, the worst that can happen is that like at least we'll be married and we'll be able to figure it out together. Like there may be some struggles and stuff like that, but we will be married and like we can step by step work stuff out. Yeah. And so for me, it was enough to take that first step. And then after I took that first step, like I had my bachelor party. They took us to, the guys took me down to Atlanta, and we went to iFly. And at iFly, the air place, I went in the wind tunnel and I had like a religious experience in there, where I feel like God was talking to me or speaking to me as far as like, as the wind was holding me up, he would hold me up when it comes to financial stuff and hold me up in other things. So like I could trust in him. And so I came out of that experience, like not as fearful and more trusting God in the areas that I thought was going to be a struggle for me to go with. And so I walked into our marriage completely unafraid. And so that I think was important for us to move forward, because I think you have to be able to like look at the fear, internalize it, and not allow it to sit in you, but reject it and say, I'm not going, like I can see the fear, and the fear can even be around me, but I'm not going to allow myself to sink in it and submerge in it and just allow myself to reside in it. Like, I'm going to like acknowledge.
Don't let it hold you back.
Don't let it hold me back. I'm going to acknowledge that it's here, and then I'm going to say, okay, cool. I'm going to be courageous in the face of this and walk in faith. Like, I'm going to trust God in this, and I'm going to say, okay, God, like, what do you have to say to me about who you called me to be? Like, I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Like, you want me to prosper. You want me, I'm the head, not the tail. I'm the lender, not the borrower. Like, what are these things that you are calling and speaking over my life? And so from there, I can take strength in his word as far as what he has to say to me and about me and for my life. And I can trust his character because he's faithful. And so from that, I can move forward and say, okay, cool. Let me walk this out and fully connect, because marriage is something that he institutes and he takes glory in. And so, like, it's not something that he's not going to desire for me.
And help you and support you.
Help me and support me in that. So for that, I think that was huge for me to kind of move forward in that. Kind of overcome.
Something about what you said made me think about like how you were affirming yourself or affirming what God said, who you really are.
Right.
And I don't know why I just thought about Clay and how he kept saying, like, I'm not a husband yet.
Right. You speak over your life. Like, your power's in the words, the power's in the tongue.
Yeah.
Life and death is in the
power of the tongue.
Yes, it's in what you speak over yourself. Like,
even when
what
he was, sorry,
I was going to say, whatever you speak over yourself is what you believe in your heart. And if you believe, like, if it translates from like you speaking to you believing to what you know about yourself.
Yeah.
Because it translates from belief to like, I know this, I know I'm not a good husband. And so then that translates to the actions that you do. Because whatever you believe in your mind and you accept in your heart, it comes out and it becomes action that you actually do.
Yeah.
And so,
he believed that so deeply about himself that it kept him from what he literally wanted.
It legit killed the hope that he had.
Yeah. Even when he was talking to Brett last night and he was saying like the things that guy says, the things that guy does, like he's a husband. I'm not a husband. Like I'm not husband material.
I thought it was interesting
that he's sabotaging himself.
He did.
With his own words.
I thought it was interesting that Brett in that moment said, I'm humbled and thankful that you would say that about me because I had those same doubts. As you were looking at me thinking I was a good husband, I was internalizing and going through the fact that I had past trauma and that trauma was affecting me on my viewpoint on can I be a good husband for the woman that I'm with. So we all go through the same, like we all got trauma.
Yeah.
But the thing is, at some point we have to like push through and say, I'm going to not allow my trauma to keep me from moving forward.
Come on.
And so Brett kind of pushed through that. Clay didn't. Clay kind of looked at his trauma and used it as like he internalized it as a belief system, like a worldview. And then Brett kind of like, okay, cool. I'm in this situation. I came for love. I tried to find a long-term relationship. This woman loves me. She's here in this with me. Like I'm still dealing with my trauma. I'm still doubting myself. I'm still fearful if I can actually be a good husband for her. But like I have enough hope in this. I have hope in her. I have hope in myself. And I have hope like that I'm going to overcome this.
Yeah. Faith.
And he still was doubtful. He was like, like he asked his like wife, he said, like, do you think I'm doing a good job? Like, am I being a good husband to you? She said, you're doing great. Like you're doing more than good. And so it's like one of those things, like I think sometimes doubt still carries with you, like even in the midst of it. Like when I got married to you, I got over that initial fear, but I still brought trauma into our relationship. Like I still had to deal with the trauma. And so it's kind of one of those things like you're going to walk through life with the scars. Like we all go through it, but the thing is like, it's part of your testimony. And so we have to kind of be able to understand, like, as we go through that stuff, like not to bury it or not to live in it.
Hey, Christy. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, so we can't bury or live in the trauma. We have to be able to accept the trauma as what it is, and it's a building block that helped me to become who I am.
Yeah.
Like, God uses everything together for the good.
Yeah.
And so...
Can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to
sorry, I'm talking too much.
Quick. No, but something about what you said made me think about how it's almost as if he felt he needed to be totally fixed and healed before he got married.
Yep.
Like he had to be totally rid of his baggage before he could be a good husband. And that's really not how this thing works.
That's not how it
like
works for
which
anything.
one of us is perfect and clear and good to go and healed? Like who of us is like that before we say I do?
Nobody.
Like I'm like, I know I was not perfect when I got married. Like, I still had issues and you're going to still have that. And it just, I don't know, like I think it really was reminiscent of this idea that you can't be a broken person in a marriage, when I think the point of marriage sometimes is for you and this person to come, like God is putting these two people together for a reason.
Right.
Because you have something that I might need,
Right.
and I have something that you might need to help us grow and blossom and become our potential.
Right.
Like to fulfill our potential. So I don't know. And you know, you never really know another person's relationship, but looking at them, it seemed like it really could have been something good.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe because, you know, we don't see the whole truth. It's reality TV. People be faking. Right. Who knows what happens behind closed doors? But I don't know. You just wonder, like, what if? Like, what if he would have said yes?
Super invested, isn't she?
I was invested, man. I'm just invested in Black love. I just want to. I'm rooting for everybody Black. I'm still sad about it, especially because they asked him last night if they would ever get back together, and she was really hurt. He really hurt that girl. Anyway, yeah, I'm in my feelings.
I can tell.
Carry on.
I can tell.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell.
Deep. But I am happy for what's their name? Johnny and Amy.
Yeah.
Is her name Amy? I can't ever get her name right. I can't ever remember that girl's name.
I think that's about right though.
Yeah, I don't know if any of you guys watch Love is Blind, but yes, I'm invested. I don't know how I got here. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry.
So I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess we'll probably close up because we're coming near the end.
Really? This is the first time that I actually feel like I can continue talking.
I mean, we can, I guess.
Like, I can keep talking about this all night.
So my question is, how do you think forgiveness can help people to overcome doubt and restore trust back to a marriage and relationship?
I'm going to repeat the question. How do I think forgiveness helps to fix doubt?
Help us people to overcome the doubts that they have and to restore any broken trust in a marriage.
In a marriage between the two people?
Yeah, because of that doubt.
Well, yeah, I think we talked about it earlier about how grace is so important in marriage. And you have to be able to have grace for your partner because we are two broken people trying to be healed and trying to make something work. And we're both two fallen human beings.
Right.
So I think you do have to remember, even like before we got on this, I was mad at you about something.
Yeah, you were.
I'm still mad, to be honest. Like I'm still annoyed. And when we get off this live, we're going to have this conversation again. But I have grace for the fact that, you know, you are a human being. You're going to mess up. You're going to forget. You're going to do things that aren't perfect.
Right.
And I think knowing that, I guess, helps me to overcome any doubts that I could have. Like, I know. Like, do I maybe wonder if you're going to mess up? Sure. Do I doubt you sometimes? Sure. But I also know that you're not going to be perfect because that's not realistic. That's not how this works. So I feel like that just helps me to trust you more, I guess. I don't know if I answered your question, but
I think that was good. I think it all goes back to...
She said, don't be mad. I'm maybe not mad, but I'm a little annoyed. Annoyed.
I dropped the ball.
But at least you know that. You acknowledge that, and I acknowledge that you're human, and we're working through it. And that's really what marriage is about. You just work through it.
Right.
Yeah, you're going to mess up. That's okay. People do that. Just work through it.
Right.
Clay.
I think, I guess my 2 cents on that. I think it all points back to how God treats us. Because, you know, obviously he didn't have doubts about us, but I'm just saying as far as like the doubts that we may have within ourselves about like our relationships with him, like he gives us forgiveness and grace and allows us to better understand how deep his love is. So forgiveness and grace is one of those things that helps to bridge the gap and allows people to really reconcile and to be able to restore that trust and build back that relationship the way it should be.
Well said. Wow.
Yes.
Those are a lot of good words put together well. You're a whole wordsmith.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sorry about that, guys.
Sorry, guys. We don't know what just happened.
Something happened.
Technology's being weird. But anyway, we're getting ready to say bye. So.
Yep. Hope you guys have enjoyed our live today and got something from it. We thank each and every single one of you guys for joining us, those who are here for the live and who will be watching the replay. We appreciate everyone, and we love you guys.
Have a happy Friday.
Yeah, guys. See y'all later.
And be safe and good night. And love you all. And come back again.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.